Welcome, everyone. We're so excited to have a special guest tonight, Jason Harwood from Home Office. He is amazing, one of my favorite people. He's so entertaining and just upbeat and brings so much energy. So I love having him come and chat with us. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him and mute myself. If everyone could mute yourselves, it would be greatly appreciated. And I'm sure he will be taking questions at the end, so feel free to put them in the chat. And we're going to go ahead and let you get started, Jason.
Thank you. So great to be with you guys. What a fun group and a fun evening. We are so grateful for you guys and your hard work, especially as Martha was mentioning, when it can be frustrating. We are so appreciative of your patience and understanding. And honestly, we understand that we get to do what we do and really even just survive because of you. So we're so grateful for you. Thank you for your ongoing dedication to your Scentsy businesses. It is inspiring and we are so grateful for it. We're having a good month this month on sales. Does anybody, you can put it in the chat or you can unmute, I suppose. Any guesses? Our top selling product of the month so far this month. Let's see how we do guessing.
I'm betting it's the weighted buddy.
Very good guess. And I think if we had stock, it would be number one. It's actually number two. There's one product that's outselling Truman. Yeah, Martha has it. The flower truck, the retro pink truck, the warmer of the month, which is really good news. I like to see that our warmer of the month is doing so well. Truman is second. Our whiff box is actually our third best seller. And interesting, Darth Vader actually comes in as the third best selling Star Wars product behind the Stormtrooper and the Jawa buddy. So probably because we've had some Darth Vader stuff out there before. So and let's see. Cute as a Button, also doing well, as well as Scooby Snacks. Although all of this will be undone because this was as of yesterday, and after the flash sale today, it will all be undone on some of our top sellers. So a lot of pods. That was something I was happy to see. Well, happy for me personally, because pods are my favorite product. I have right here, boom, my little cute mini. And let's see, what pod do I have? Oh, Welcome Home. I love Welcome Home. In fact, I'm going to plug it in right now. I love this thing. It does. It's funny though. Just, the way the world was years ago, I had this little mini fan diffuser, and my wife walked in a couple years ago, into my little office space here, and she was like, "Man, it doesn't smell great in here." And I was like, "Oh, okay, let me plug in my mini fan diffuser." So I plugged this baby in. I think I had Welcome Home because it's one that I really love. And like 20 minutes later, I was like, wait a minute. It doesn't smell any better in here. Maybe this. And so I picked up my little pod thing and I smelled it, couldn't smell anything. I was like, oh, it must be out. So I ran over to where we keep all of our stuff. I pulled out some new pods, smelled the new one. Nothing. Not a thing. And I was like, oh, dang it. So I start pulling out every bar that we have, and I'm smelling every bar. No sense of smell at all. And I said to my wife, I think I might have COVID because I can't smell a single thing. And I never went and got tested or any of that, whatever, but I now, thankfully, already I can smell this. Like, I just plugged this in already. I'm like, oh, I love that cinnamon thing. Okay. Yeah, I've been with Scentsy for 15 years. And so I'm excited to share with you guys some of the things that I've learned over 15 years of interacting with some of the most amazing and inspiring and successful people. I am always amazed, as sometimes I just stop and think, like, the people that I have an opportunity to interact with are just some of the most kind, gracious, loving, and then inspiring, successful, hardworking people. And it's astounding to me that I have an opportunity to work with them. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about mindsets, and I'm going to share with you a couple of quotes and some ideas around mindset, as well as some specific things to be intentional about as it relates to your mindset. So let's dive in. Here we go. And let's talk about some mindset growth. I want to start, I'm just tell you a quick story about, this is my daughter. Her name is Amber, and this is her, she just wrapped up her junior year of high school softball. We live in a little town right outside of Meridian called Kuna. That's what's on her jersey there, Kuna, but it rhymes with tuna, Kuna. And our high school mascot are the cavemen. We have a cave here in Kuna, kind of an underground cave that you can go down into. There's nothing spectacular down in there, but it's kind of cool. And for whatever reason, many years ago, when they were picking the mascot, they thought, oh, you know what? Let's be the caveman, but because Kuna starts with a K, let's call ourselves the caveman with a K. So we are the Kuna cavemen, but we spell caveman with a K. And so, yeah, that's our, and thank you. Yeah, she is very pretty. And just flaming red hair. And if you're wondering, like, huh, she's got red hair. I wonder if she acts like a redhead. Yep. Yes, she does. She sure does. Her nickname is Little Rito. Little Rito. All of my kids, all my other kids call her that, Little Rito, and people at school. Rito is short for Dorito because she's like the nacho whatever red Doritos. So that's what they call her. But she just finished up her softball season, and at the end of home games, there's a bit of a tradition where the gay mans and the players are allowed to go talk with friends and family for a couple of minutes, you know, say, hey, thanks for coming, appreciate it, give them a hug, all of those things. And then the coach yells and all the players run out to left field, and they gather in left field for the coach's minute there, talking with them, and then they're free to go. And luckily, she's old enough now that she can drive herself. When she was younger, you had to wait all through the coach's minute, and I hated that because you're like, what more is there possible to say? You talk with them tomorrow? But now, as soon as she comes, says hi, and leaves, and I can leave at that point because I got to clean up the field and all that stuff. So a couple of weeks ago, she'd had a particularly bad game hitting. I think she went 0 for 3 or 0 for 4. It was not a great game for her hitting. There's no way to sugarcoat that. It is what it is. And so the game ended, and I was sitting over here, and her mom was sitting over there, and her grandpa comes and some friends and stuff. So she was coming over and saying hi to grandpa and saying hi to different people before she gets to me. I'm like the last one that she talks to. And so she gets to me and she says, I am terrible at hitting. I can't hit anything right now. And I was kind of surprised by that because she's a very confident girl, and I've never heard her say things like that before. And so I was kind of struck, and I said, well, because that day, yeah, she'd been bad. Like, there was no way to say like, oh, no, those strikeouts were totally legit, you know, like, what do you say? You're just like, I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, boom, the coach says, you know, like, hey, gather up, team. And they're going out to left field. And I'm stuck there thinking, okay, so my daughter's coming home in about 20 to 30 minutes, and I have a little bit of time to prepare for what I'm going to say to her when she gets home after saying, I am terrible at hitting. I can't hit anything right now. And so I kind of got to thinking, and maybe some of you have had somewhat of a similar experience in your own life. Have you ever had thoughts like that run through your head? Maybe it's about recruiting. Maybe you're thinking, my gosh, we've got this 15 bar special and I can't get anybody to join. I am just terrible at recruiting right now. Or maybe during the flash sale, you were like, I can't get any of my customers to show any interest in the flash sale. I'm just terrible. Maybe you feel that way about your social media interaction. I can't get anybody to respond to any of my posts. Or I can get people to join, but man, I can't get them to do anything. Right? There's all of these times and places and incidences where you might feel somewhat the same way. Yeah, Jackie, that's me. I cannot recruit to save my life. Marlene, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah, that's how my daughter was feeling. And so exactly how you're feeling, that now it's like, okay, I got a few minutes to talk with you now. And I'm thinking, oh man, what would I possibly say to someone who is in that mental space? Now, I had recently read a book by a guy named David Brooks. Let me put it into the chat for those of you who, his name is David Brooks. And the book is called The Road to Character. Pretty good book. It's nonfiction, self-help type thing. He identifies a handful of character traits that he sees as valuable to develop. And then he tells stories about people in history who had developed those character traits and, gives a couple of ideas around some things that we can do. Now, one of the guys that he talked about is a guy named Samuel Johnson, who was a writer a long time ago. And he wrote a series of essays. And so he's talking about these different character traits that Samuel Johnson wrote about. And in one of his essays, Samuel Johnson wrote an essay called On Sorrow. That's kind of a weird word. We don't really use that word much anymore. But that's what my daughter was feeling. My daughter was feeling sorrow. We would probably use some different language in our modern way of talking. We would say like negative self-talk, self-doubt. We would say she was feeling, kind of down on herself. Samuel Johnson uses the word sorrow. So you'll see some of that language. Now, he says something interesting because he says sorrow is unlike every other emotion, or kind of not every other emotion, but every other kind of physical demand. And he gives a couple of examples like hunger, thirst, fatigue, or fear. Because when you're experiencing one of these, hunger, thirst, fatigue, and fear, there's always a forward action leading to a solution. So when you're hungry, you get up, you go eat. Now you're not hungry anymore. When you're thirsty, you get up, you go drink. Now you're not thirsty anymore. When you are tired, you go sleep. And, that solves some of the problem. Not all the time, but, in general. And when you're afraid, he says, you exhibit your fight or flight and you take action away from whatever you're afraid of. And that's your solution. You're proactively taking action toward a solution. He said with sorrow, and I think with a lot of self-doubt and some of this negative self-talk that my daughter was experiencing and so many of you experience, he said it's really an opposite thing. Because when we're experiencing that, what we tend to do is shut down and turn in, and that tends to make it worse. In our modern language, we would call this a self-fulfilling prophecy. If, for example, and I don't mean to pick on Jackie, but if, for example, Jackie put it in the chat, that's me, I can't recruit to save my life. If we're kind of feeling that, then the actions that we take based off of that are not the same actions as you would take if you're hungry. If you are hungry, you take proactive action to eat. You don't look at yourself and go, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. I'm just no good. I'm just no good at eating. I guess I'll just stop eating. I can't believe I allowed myself to get hungry. Why did I allow myself to get hungry? Why didn't I snack an hour ago? I mean, how dumb can I be that I failed to snack? I can't believe I found myself in this place where I've allowed myself to become hungry. No, you just get up and go eat. But oftentimes with this mental and emotional stuff, we do the opposite. We say, I'm no good at this. And then we don't take the necessary action either to practice and get better or learn how to be better. And then things happen and our minds reinforce the belief. This is crazy thing about humans. Once we decide something, our minds work overtime to convince ourselves we're right. So when my daughter says, I'm no good at hitting, I can't hit anything right now, her mind is going to go into overtime, highlighting every time she's missed or struck out or got out, and will block out and eliminate most of the counter arguments to that. That's deep mindset stuff, but it's true. It's true. Once you establish a belief in your mind works to confirm your own beliefs. So what do? We've got this problem, right? Because when we're in sorrow, we tend to turn in. Maybe some of you have the same thing. Like I have like a sorrow spot in my house because we have a bonus room upstairs. It's got the most comfortable couch in it. I can go up there. I can shut the door. And when I find myself in sorrow, that's where I go. I go up into the bonus room. I shut the door and I sit down on the comfortable couch, and you kind of sink into this couch. Like physically, I'm like sinking inward, and I sit in that negativity. And if I really don't want to be bothered, I shut the door, and then I take a couple of pillows from the couch and I put them behind the couch, and I lay down on the floor behind the couch so that if somebody walks in and just is looking for me, they look in the bonus room, they can't see me because I'm hiding behind the couch. Like that's how bad I'm like, don't talk to me, don't bug me. But what that tends to do is take your sorrow and make it worse. Different than if I'm hungry, thirsty, tired, where I just take immediate action to solve the problem or afraid. Now, I should point out, this is not like, I don't know the first thing. I'm not a licensed therapist or anything. This is not like actual depression. This is not some of the mental health difficulties that many people struggle with. If you fit into that boat, please don't take this as your counsel. Go talk to somebody who actually knows how to deal with some of those very real situations. This is just like, my daughter, or you at times, right? That's what this is, not the other thing. So here's what Samuel Johnson had to say on this, on sorrow. He said, sorrow is the state of mind in which our desires are fixed upon the past without looking forward to the future. And this is what was running through my mind when I was thinking about what I was going to say to my daughter. I love this line, an incessant wish that something were otherwise than it has been. This use of language is so great. A tormenting and harassing want of some enjoyment or possession we have lost. That is such powerful language. I love how he says that, because that's how we feel. Fixed upon the past, an incessant wish, tormenting and harassing us. What do we do about it? Samuel Johnson says this: the safe and general antidote against sorrow is employment. That doesn't mean getting a job. That means like doing something in the language of his time. Sorrow is a kind of rust of the soul, which every new idea contributes in its passage to scour away. It is the putrefaction of life. There should be an of there. Putrefaction of life, and is remedied by exercise and motion. That's what I love. Remedied by, that's a guy named Samuel Johnson. Remedied by exercise and motion. See, for every other one of the kind of emotions or challenges that he says, we remedy it with exercise and motion. If you're hungry, the remedy is get up and go do something about it. Get up and go get some food. Get up and, even if it's go lay down and take a nap, there is some motion involved with that. You get up from your desk or wherever you're at and you go and take a nap or just go to bed. But sorrow is the other. We kind of sit and stew in that. And so that's what I told my daughter. She came home that night and I said, okay, here's the thing. You have another game in 2 days. And you're going to step into the batter's box again in 2 days. If you step into the batter's box in 2 days with the same mental process that you're experiencing now, the likelihood of being successful is so low. So I said, here's what you need. Here's what, well, here's what you need to do. I mean, she's 17. So yeah, I tell her what she needs to do. And then she decides whether to listen to me or be wrong. Um, those of you with children know there are 2 options. Do what I tell you or be wrong. Those are the 2 options. If you want to be wrong, go right ahead. But I told her, I said, here's what you need to do. Text your coach and ask her to meet you tomorrow morning. This was a Friday. I said, ask her to meet you tomorrow morning at the hitting facility. There's this indoor hitting facility at our high school. Ask her to meet you tomorrow at the indoor hitting facility and spend some time getting back into a groove of, hitting, get your timing, get your stance, get your emotion right. I don't know all the things about hitting. I'm not skilled enough to coach her in that. I'm only, I'm just like, okay, let's deal with the mindset thing. But get back into a place where you feel confident, powerful, and encouraged. Get back to exercise and motion. You can sit for as long as you want in a place of being fixed upon the past. You can sit as long as you want with an incessant wish that something were otherwise than it has been. You can be tormented and harassed over something that you have lost. And sometimes I acknowledge you do sit in those emotions for a little bit, but then you've got to get to exercise and motion. And to her credit, she did. She texted her coach, texted one of her good friends on the team, said, hey, can you meet us tomorrow morning at the hitting facility? Coach was gracious enough to do so. And for the next 2 days, she spent some time at the hitting facility before her game on Monday. And boom, now I don't even remember how she hit in the game on Monday. For the season, she did okay. Hit over 300, which is good. And but Monday I asked kind of mentally how she was feeling, and mentally she was in a significantly better place because she had done exercise and motion. That's the solution to these things. So the same thing with like recruiting. When we say, man, I am so bad at recruiting, I would say, okay, let's get this to a small thing. For my daughter, it was text your coach and ask her if she can meet you at the hitting facility to get back into the motion of it. I would say, okay, how do we get back into some small forward moving momentum around sponsoring? Now, if I, just thank you so much for putting this in here, Jackie, because this has been very helpful. If I were talking with you one-on-one, I would say, okay, there are some skills around sponsoring that are crucial, things like consistently following up, consistently reaching out, consistently asking. But let's kind of get back to a place where you feel comfortable, confident. Let's maybe get back to some follow-up around some product. Let's get back to following up with some customers and just start getting into a place where you feel confident and powerful walking into your next sponsoring conversation. So, it might be just reaching out to some of your best customers, reaching out to some easy follow-up people, reach out to some friends and family and be like, hey, just checking in to see if you're needing to get a wax refill or something. And just get back into some small thing where you can build and start some building blocks around positive momentum moving forward. Because that's the solution to these mindset challenges. So a couple of areas where you can have some intentional focus are the first thing you do in the morning. When you decide, okay, I got to get back to some positive momentum, become intentional around controlling the first thing you do every morning. It's one of the few things you have a lot of control over because I know in my house, as soon as another human being wakes up, I've lost a lot of control over how my day's going to go because all of a sudden there's outside demands. But I can almost always intentionally control the first thing I do every morning. For me, I found 3 things that are incredibly helpful in the morning. I call it mindset, movement, and momentum. And I get up and I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for every single day. That's the mindset. I gratitude journal, boom. First thing I do, I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for every morning. Then I have found a person that I like on YouTube that does a bunch of like 10 to 15 minute yoga routines. And so I'll do like 10 to 15 minutes of some yoga just to kind of get my body moving. I don't think this does a whole lot for me in terms of like burning calories or anything, but I have noticed like it just gets you moving forward into some momentum. And that's my third one, which is momentum. I then jot down the most important thing I need to do that day so that I have it written down and in my mind. And now, boom, I can start to take positive action. I don't always get to the most important thing right away, but I make sure I know what it is. So first thing in the morning, control what you do first thing in the morning. Control what you do the last thing at night. If the last thing that you do at night is scrolling, you might consider being more intentional about that last thing you do at night. Whether that's, for some people, it's very helpful to write to gratitude journal at night. Other people like to write down a couple of things they need to do the next day so they can then shut off their mind and say, okay, I know I got to get to that tomorrow, but I'm going to get to that tomorrow. And so now I can shut down my mind and get to sleep. Some people like to meditate at night. You might consider some nightly meditation or reading or prayer or something, but control what you do the last thing at night. A couple of fun rules that you can do. Before I ever, you can set up a positive rule for yourself and you say, before I ever scroll Instagram, and you might say to yourself, before I ever scroll Instagram, I'm always going to follow up with 2 customers. And you can use your reorder report. You can use your customer or product purchase history report. Those are on your sales report in your workstation to get a list of everyone who's purchased from you. You can use those reports. And if you need some help with those reports, just email me, jharwood@scentsy.com, my first initial and last name. That's only because you guys are connected with Martha and her amazing organization, but jharwood@scentsy.com. If you're like, I don't know what reports you're talking about, send, and we'll set up a quick Zoom and I'll show you the reports. And maybe I'll take just a second at the end here and show them to you. But before I ever scroll Instagram, I listen to podcasts and books almost nonstop. Like my team at work jokes around with me because I almost always have an earbud in my ear. Nonstop, I listen to podcasts and audiobooks. And so I set up a rule for myself that the first thing I always listen to is 15 minutes of a personal development book. The one I'm reading now is called The Algebra. I'm actually listening to it. I say reading, but I'm not. I'm listening. The Algebra of Wealth by Scott Galloway. Anyway, it's pretty good. It's about building wealth. Before this, I listened to The Culture Code by Daniel Coyle. That one's really good. But I do that first. So I'm intentional around what I do. Maybe every time I have somebody order 50 PRV from me, I'm always going to ask if they want to have their own personal shopping link. Thank you so much for this order. This is so great. This is 50 PRV. Do you know if you get to 200 PRV, you get some free and half price products? Would you like me to set up a personal shopping link? We'll put your $50 order on it. And then if you want to gather a few orders from some other people, boom, you can get some free and half price stuff. Or maybe every time someone orders, say 3 times from you, you can say, oh my gosh, you are one of my best customers. I trust me, I love being your Scentsy consultant, and I love to spend the money that I make from your orders. Have you ever thought of being a consultant yourself and buying from yourself and then sharing Scentsy with some of your friends? So set up some rules every time. When you have something go right, when you have something good happen, be intentional around what you're going to do. First off, you just celebrate. You're just like, yes, I got a PWS order today. Go me. When you actually have that recruiting conversation, whether they say yes or no. You just celebrate a little bit and be like, nice job, me. Yeah, way to go. I killed it. They said no, but that's all right. I had the conversation. That's all I care about. All I can control is me. So I'm proud of me for doing, I think it's Snoop Dogg. And last of all, I want to thank me. I want to thank me for all my hard work. I want to thank me for, you haven't seen that little soundbite. It's kind of funny. But yeah, celebrate when something goes good. And then think about what you're going to do when something bad happens. What do you do to keep yourself in motion, keep yourself moving and doing something, even if it's something totally different? Maybe when you're having like a series of bad moments, you just say, you know what, I'm going to go take a walk. I love to get outside in nature, love to be outside, love to walk the dog, see the creations outside or whatever like that. And so go out and take a walk and focus on that mindset. Maybe it's, watch a couple of reels. Just be like, I'm going to just watch a couple, but set a 5-minute timer. So I'm going to watch reels for 5 minutes and then I'm going to get back into it. Something like that. So those are the areas where you can be real intentional about your mindset, because the key really gets back to this whole idea of moving from being fixed upon the past to forward-looking exercise and motion. And the sooner we do that, the sooner we start to see progress. When bad things happen, yeah, you probably do sit in your disappointment for a while. My daughter sat in her disappointment over going over 3 or 4 and probably good. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, you should sit in this pain for a little bit, because pain is the number one factor that drives changes in human behavior. Until humans experience pain, we almost never change. So if my daughter's ever going to put in the work necessary to become better at hitting, she's going to have to sit through some pain. But once you sit there for a bit, okay, now what's the exercise in motion? What's the small behavior necessary to move forward and to start building momentum? So same thing in your Scentsy business. When things don't go the way that you want it to, that really sucks. Okay, now I got to start making some forward momentum. And yeah, Jackie, I think everybody was frustrated with the flash sale today. My gosh, walking around home office, there were a lot of frustrated people at home office. We don't experience the same level of impact that you do. We understand that, but people are frustrated when it doesn't go the way that we want it to. There were lots of frustration. And so we're like, yeah, that was very frustrating. And then, yeah, you get that great PRV email. That's so cool. And boom, all right, now I'm ready to take some motion and exercise and take some forward moving action. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Jackie. Okay. If you do have questions, you can put it in the chat. Martha, would it be helpful for me to show those quick reports?
That would be awesome. Please.
Okay. It'll take me just a second.
And if anyone has questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat.
Yeah, you can, or unmute. The great thing is I don't know a whole heck of a lot. I know that we're going to a reunion in Orlando, so that's fun. Other than that, yeah, other than that, I don't know too many things, but okay, so here we go. I just logged into somebody's actual account. Let me make sure that it's okay to share this. Okay, yep. I'm not going to click on the full reports here, but these 3 reports here. So this is reporting and sales reports. Reporting, sales reports. And these 3 reports here can be very, very valuable. The reorder report, you come in here and you can do it defaults as 0 to 3. months of time, but you can do a different amount of time. If you can do 3 to 6 months, you can do 0 to 5 months, you can do all sorts of different time frames in there. And then I would export the report to Excel because I like working in Excel. But if you don't like working in Excel, then don't worry about it. But you just click search on there and it will give you the customer name, when they last ordered, how long it's been since they ordered, if they were a part of a party, what party. It will give you their order number if you need that. And then it tells you what they ordered, for example. Email, phone number, address, all sorts of great. So if you're kind of thinking like, man, I got to get myself in motion, follow-up is one of the best ways to do that. And it's also, one of those rules to set up for yourself. Before I scroll Instagram every day, I'm always going to reach out to 2 people. And so you go in there and find out who to reach out to. Sorry, it started showing customer data, so I stopped it. This one, let me show you product purchase history. So here we go. Ba-doop. This is a good one for, I think, next week. So this is product purchase history. Again, sales report, product purchase history. But I can come in here and is it next week we have the black raspberry vanilla? Whatever it is coming out, don't we? The series of bars where
It came out yesterday.
Oh, it came out yesterday? Oh, there we go. Came out yesterday. Okay, so this is great then. Then this is what you want to do. If you haven't already, I just typed in here, black raspberry vanilla, select all. This is all of our products ever in the fragrance, black raspberry vanilla. I can go back a year ago, say, and let's say May 1st. Okay. And if I click search here, it's going to show you every customer who's ever purchased black raspberry vanilla from you. You can go into the flash sale still and kind of see what's still available there. And if there's a product that you're like, oh, I kind of like that, like I mentioned pods. Let's see, there may not be a good, so this is that product. If I come here, I think I can type in pods. Oh, that's all it's going to give me. Anyway, you can type in the specific. Let's go wall fan. Oh yeah, here we go. Everybody who's ordered any wall fan diffuser, same thing. I'm going to go back a year. Boom, search that. And then I'm going to hit them up and say, hope you love that wall fan diffuser that you bought. Want you to know there are a lot of pods available right now in the flash sale. Here's a great link. Boom. But there's, if there's other products in there that make you think, I saw some Disney stuff in there. So I think you can come in here. I wonder what happens if we type in. Yeah, anything Disney, if you want to reach out. And I think I don't know if it's still there, but earlier was the Snow White one in there and a couple other, I think like the Princess Mini Fan Diffuser was actually in there. So anyway, that's product purchase history. There's some great things that you can do with that one. And then the other one is customer purchase history. Now you can come in here and type in a specific customer name, or you can just do a time frame and click search, and it will show you every customer who's ordered from you within that time frame. And so this is helpful if you want to see like who some of your people are that are ordering from you consistently. You can then export that to Excel and see who's ordering from you consistently. But if somebody's name pops into your head, you want to come in here and look them up and see what they've ordered. That's very helpful. So those 3 reports can be very helpful in creating some real powerful forward momentum. So, oh yeah, Cinderella. Oh, is the Snow White one still there? I think that Snow White one's pretty cute. But my gosh, we have so many warmers and I'm not quite sure what I'd do with it. Okay. Oh, let's see. I thought I saw something earlier that I was going to touch on. I can't remember. Oh well. Okay. Oh, no, Martha. Yeah, the pink chairs, those are fun. My wife inherited those from her grandma. When her grandma passed away, we got those two pink chairs. And it's kind of a interesting room because there's those two pink chairs, and then there's a piano over here, and then my little work area right here. And my wife and I, we had this discussion just the other day because she's like, your work area keeps expanding. I'm like, I know. I've been working from home for 4 years now. We started working from home in 2020 when COVID hit. I'm like, you'd think that maybe I could like have the whole room at this point, but no, no. I get my little corner, but I have put up shelves to give me like more space. And now, but then I filled my shelves with just little knick-knacky things, memorabilia and different stuff. And then I have a thing there with some medals that I've gotten from doing different races and stuff. So anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, thank you guys. Start tonight and just say, what's the last thing you're going to do tonight and the first thing you're going to do tomorrow morning? And then just start that. If you have questions, if you want to dive in deeper into some of these things, if you want to go in deeper into some of your personal reports, feel free to reach out, jharwood@scentsy.com. Happy to look through some of those things with you, and hope to see many of you at reunion.
Thank you so much, Jason.
My
Does
pleasure.
anyone have
Thank you
any
guys.
questions, any thoughts you want to share? I think Erica, I know she has her morning routine. Erica, right?
Oh, that's good.
What do you want to share?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to get ready for work at 6 a.m. and I wake up at either between 4:30 and 5, and that's my Scentsy time. It's
Oh,
either posting in parties or my VIP group or catching up in all of the groups.
love it.
Scheduling my posts, doing all that good stuff. So I just make sure that I do that because I know by the end of the day when at this time I'm exhausted and I just want to come home and lay in bed after everything.
But you also have you're always sharing your motivational videos. Like you have like this which I love.
Yeah. So I always on the way to work, I drive a half hour. So I make sure that I always have a motivational YouTube to listen to. Put my aux cord in and same thing. I always got my AirPods in, and at work I call them earpods. My son makes fun of me. But I always have them in too, and I have to. I have to because I have to get the negative mind, negative stuff out of my mind. So, and then I try to share them in the groups as well, what I listen to each morning.
Awesome. That is so great. See, that's what I don't know, because like these are not AirPods. These are a different brand. I like them better. They stay in my ear better. But
I
I'm
always
like,
call them iPods too because we used to have the
oh, okay.
iPod,
Yeah. So I
and so
I call them
he
like
yells at me.
earbuds, and they're like, no,
Yeah,
they're
I don't really
yeah.
know.
But they're
He yells
not.
at me all the time.
Kids are so helpful.
Anyone
They
else
work
want to
though.
share? Anyone else have anything they want to share? Thoughts, questions? Look in the chat. No, we're good. Yeah, the reporting was very helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, those three are underutilized. So yeah, use them more.
All right, we're gonna take our picture. Everyone smile. And you guys that don't have your camera on, you can turn your camera on so we can see you. I'm gonna wait.
I would be.
There's Shauna, Megan. There you guys are. Monica, Mandy, Steven. All right. All right. Smile, guys. All righty. All right. Thank you so much, Jason. Any thoughts
Yes.
before we go, you guys? Mandy, pretend I'm smiling. All right.
Thanks to all
Thank
of you. We
you.
love you guys. We're
Thank
grateful
you,
for
Jason.
you. Let us know if you need anything.
Appreciate it. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Talk to you guys later. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.